Soma is a follow-up to the incredible success that was Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It's a first-person sci-fi horror game in which the player has no weapons and must use their wits to avoid the dangers of the deep. The title was developed and published by Frictional Games. It released on Steam, GOG, and the Humble Store for Windows, Mac, and Linux on September 21st, and digitally on the PS4 on September 22nd with a stock standard price of $30 US. You play as Simon, just a guy going in for a medical scan who wakes up in a weird place, trying to make sense of his surroundings and, as it turns out, himself. I got a review copy of Soma and decided for the first time I'd give horror games a try. I'm not a horror genre fan and don't particularly like horror movies either, so take that into account while watching this. Soma plays like just about every first-person shooter that has ever been released. WASD to move, mouse to look, space for jumping, and a few interactable items. It does have a Skyrim-style pickup system where you can move things around the world, but no inventory screen to carry them along with you, and there's some interactivity with the world in general, but it feels gimmicky. For example, early in the game you get to throw an object at a window to break it. Don't expect that mechanic to be useful again for a while. Several mechanics also are similarly used very infrequently. I was expecting a horror game though, not a psychological thriller, and while I don't want that to count against it, the altered design from what I expected also has a fairly negative piece as well. Soma is very good at telling a story of a derelict settlement of sorts, but it does so with large expanses of walking. Walking and walking, more walking. Enough so that I honestly believe that I spent at least half my time playing the game walking from one place to the next. Sure, some of it is slow, very heavily atmospheric walking with terror lurking behind every shadow, but it's still long expanses of uneventful walking nonetheless. Where it comes to the actual horror part, you go for long enough in between creatures that there is still some surprise when it happens, but that fear quickly goes away while watching them, or not watching as the situation dictates. I found that the primary source of nerve-wracking to be the world design, location, and what was once there, rather than what is there now. This is a beautiful game. Without spoiling too much of anything, the scenery is gorgeous, with plenty of nuanced item placements and creative designs. Further to that, there are a significant number of underwater portions which, given the nice lighting, will awaken thalassophobia in any player. The atmosphere of the game is enhanced by the graphical fidelity, and the performance is very good as well. There were some issues recording with DxTory though, with the frame rate dropping to a fixed 30 frames per second, but outside of that it was a solid 60. It has all of the graphical options you would expect, and yay for being able to turn off bloom. I felt like this review would be a bit longer than it is, but that's a function of a significant portion of Soma being good, but not great or bad. For me, it was a bug-free experience. The graphics are gorgeous and the setting terrifying, but when it comes to the actual game inhabitants and the patterns they follow, the game fell short for me. The gameplay is not revolutionary or even evolutionary in any way. The storyline is brilliantly told, for the most part with intricate and easily missed objects in the world that add to the overall presentation, but it has so much walking simulator filler that I frequently found myself wishing I could just skip to the next piece of story. It's a good solid game, but not exceptional, and I found myself expecting more from a developer with such a critically acclaimed success as Amnesia. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I hope this review is useful to you. If you're so inclined, please do check out some of the other content on the channel. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.